Hello and welcome to the Power Up Nursing Podcast. I am Rosa Hart, the Nurse Advisory Board Chair, and I'm introducing our topic today, which is being optimistic. So, for the month of May, which is Nurses Month, we have a theme about being bold. And bold stands for brave, optimistic, loving, and disruptive. So today I get to talk to one of the most optimistic people I know, one of our other board members, Laquita Burden. She is a nurse also, and she was kind of a mentor to me at my bedside job. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is. And she's also affectionately known as Eduquita because she's a nurse educator as her full-time job. So welcome, Eduquita.
Thank you for the great introduction.
Well, yeah, thank you for being here and joining me on this.
Mm,
And so I was saying you're one of the most optimistic people I've met because when I came to work in the hospital where we work together, you were already an educator and already sharing a Friday email of
yeah.
encouragement and is full of memorable quotes and just positive ways to like reset your mind. And
Mhm.
so that really sealed my first impression of you was like this is the most positive person literally ever. And
Well,
so
thank you.
so I'm glad to have you on the advisory board for Power Up Nursing.
Yes.
Um, but one thing that you and I talked about in preparation for this conversation is as nurses, there's not like any room in our lives for toxic positivity
Right.
because we're always confronted by human suffering, whether
Hmm.
in our own lives or encountering our patients who
Right.
oftentimes are having the worst days of their lives.
Hmm.
So, we have to be intentional.
We
Um,
do.
would you would you like to share some about your journey of optimism in the face of suffering?
Yeah. So, just as far as like my background before um, nursing, my husband was renal failure and also sickle cell. So, like, just seeing him in pain and stuff all the time. I was in school at this time. Um, and then in 2018, he passed away. So I had went into a deep depression. So in order to help me with that depression, um, I had found like lots and lots of support from church and also some of the girls at work. So the It's Friday blog that's on the Power of Nursing, yay! Um,
Yay.
uh, that it helped me, like, just reading the feedback from all of you all. And I was like, I didn't even realize that my little Fridays quotes that I was sending out was making such a difference with everybody else. So, like, as far as being optimistic, it's like being able to support others, but also you're getting like, I'm getting that, my cup filled from you all.
Yeah, we need that feedback loop, don't we?
Yeah.
It needs to not just be one way.
Right. Right.
So, would people respond back to your emails and say things, or would you just like run into people in the hall and
No,
you'd hear
so
back?
like some both. Some would be like even like as soon as I send them out, I'm like, Dad, I just hit send. And like some people would be like, oh my gosh, I needed this today. Um, or you know exactly what I was feeling. Are you in my head? Like comments like that. Or they'll be like, thank you so much. That really means a lot. So
Yeah, definitely. And at our symposium that was at Norton Healthcare in October this past year, you were attending along with a bunch of other nurses. And um, is that when you were surprised to find out how far reaching your emails
yes.
were getting?
Yes. It really was because like I didn't even realize like some of the people in the room, I didn't even realize they got it. So it's just like I send it out and then a lot of people forward it on. I didn't know that that was happening. So yes. And it's like
Well,
that like really, really does it helps uplift me.
and just to be clear, Laquita does not put in these letters, if you do not forward this to 10 friends,
Oh.
then you're going to be or something like those old emails. It's just, it's so encouraging. You want to share it. And so after that, we invited you to share your Friday letters as a blog for Power Up Nursing, in addition to the other advisory board members writing blogs and their expertise. Well, your expertise is in optimism. So there you go.
Yes.
So are there any things that really landed with people that were encouraging that you'd like to share here?
It's always the ones that I do on making sure to take care of yourself. And then the other ones that I get a lot of replies or comments on is when I talk about grief.
Yes.
And not just like, not like in a bad way or anything, but just one, describing how it feels. And then two, just I think letting people know that it lets people know that they're not in it by themselves. So
Exactly. And I think talking about those things, addressing the reality of suffering, and instead of giving pat answers and things like that, acknowledging the reality of the situation can be encouraging, because it makes people feel seen and validated.
Yes.
It might not seem like optimism, because like some people, we've heard of toxic positivity, where it's kind of like denying reality and just, we're only going to say good things whether or not they're true. And that's just invalidating.
Yes.
Invalidating people's experience. So I
Yes.
appreciate how grounded you stay while being positive.
Well, thank you.
How would you define optimism in your role as a nurse?
I would have to say, like just as far as you meaning like what I do now or like bedside or
However you want to define it.
I mean, well, one just for optimism period, it's just like so it's having that feeling of hope, right, for the future. So like I feel like if you like are able to help as far as my educator role, I'll say, being like approachable, being where they feel like they can come to you for anything. And then like at the bedside, just helping them like as far as like the patients, helping them to know, like that I'm not going to pretend that everything is fine. We're going to, sit down, I'm gonna listen to you and we can talk it out.
Exactly. I think that is so important.
It kind of, I have to say it has like almost a ripple effect. If you think like as far as like optimism, along with I feel like kindness does too. So yeah. And like in nursing, you have to be optimistic on some days. I mean, I'm not going to say every day because that's not being realistic, but yeah.
But we need to have hope that tomorrow can be better.
Yes. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. If you find yourself being hopeless, like it's just bad and it's always going to be bad and nothing's ever going to get better,
Right.
you're stuck in a rut, and you need to be more positive than that, because that's not going to end well. So what practices help you maintain a sense of hope during really emotionally draining shifts?
I would have to say one is walking off the unit, going for a walk. I love my matcha teas. My matcha tea helps.
You get lavender matcha? Have you tried the lavender matcha?
I did. Yes. Yeah.
Do you get that, or was that a one-time thing?
I get the matcha frappe. And just the regular whip on top. They was like, "You want the whip?" I'm like, "That's the fun part." So Yeah. But yes, so like also my other thing is just when I am trying to like kind of rebalance, I will write my blogs. Something may come across, or somebody said something, and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. So I'll sit down and write it. So
And that's how it's ready every Friday because you're putting it
yeah,
together progressively throughout the week. Do you just
yeah.
like keep it in your drafts and then just hit send on Friday?
Sometimes, and then other times I write them. I have a notebook that I keep in my bed. So
Yeah.
like sometimes as soon as I wake up, I just do like a word dump.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like, wow, okay, I need to share this one. So
Oh, that's awesome. And that's a good practice for you too. So it's more like a daily thing for you. It's not just a weekly thing.
yes.
Yeah. So, how do you think optimism is a skill that can be taught to newer nurses, and how do you model it for them? Well, I mean, you model it obviously, but how can established nurses model that?
I would have to say, you said, can it be taught? You said, do I
Do
think
I
it can
think
be
that
taught?
optimism, obviously, I'm biased. I think optimism is a skill that can be taught, that it's
Oh
a
yes,
thought
I do
process
too.
that
Okay,
can
I
be
thought
taught
that's what
through.
you had asked. But because I was going to say yes, absolutely, it can be taught. And
Mhm.
again, it's that not pretending that everything is fine all the time. You know, like my hair's on fire, I'm fine. Like no, just helping them to be able to get through. It could be just like helping them to refocus, or being just that help for them, you know, that helping hand rather, for them.
Yeah.
Um, as far as, again, like I say, modeling it, you want to be approachable. I feel like being approachable is the biggest thing when it comes to like the newer nurses. Um, let's see what else.
I really had not associated that, but now that you say it, thinking of it, what a way to squelch hope if you're unapproachable.
Right, right.
If you're the go-to person and you're
Mhm.
shutting them down, then you're shutting
Right.
down their hope of getting
Exactly.
an answer, their hope of being able to take care of this patient.
Yes.
Um, so wow, I hadn't really thought of it in that way before. I'm glad you said that.
You know, and just like reminding them, like kind of like every day, what they do, that it makes a difference. You know, because sometimes just when people hear that, they like, oh, that's why I got into nursing, you know? So
Yeah,
just reminding them.
because we may not see the difference that's made
No,
that day.
right.
We have to have hope that today and several days from now, they're gonna
Hmm.
get
Yeah.
there. And how do we avoid crossing into unhelpful optimism?
I would have to say, when you just jump straight to like, it's, you know, they're like, I'm tired, I'm sad, I whatever the case may be. And you're just like, well, you're alive. You know, I mean, yes, you want to look at the bright side, or look for the hope in it, but like I think also just letting them know that you're there with them,
Mm.
helping them to find their way out of the dark. And sometimes that can be just sitting in the dark with them, letting them know that you're there.
Yeah, not just approachable, but sit withable.
Hmm. You're listening, you're acknowledging, and you're being present.
Yeah,
And like I feel like all three of those, it really makes a difference.
definitely. So, well, that's really great advice. Like, how, and then if I think about how I recharge my optimism, music really helps.
Hmm.
You know, and I can get kind of stuck in listening to songs. Like, I like to sing a lot, and I
Hmm.
feel like my voice sounds really good in songs that are more melancholy, but
Okay.
then it'll make me moody. So sometimes I have to listen to music I couldn't pull off singing because it's more upbeat or
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah.
that upbeat music and the lyrics of it can just be so encouraging. My daughter's been playing this song a lot lately, Flowers, and it's not the one where you can buy yourself flowers.
Hmm.
It's the one that says something about like when the rain is falling down, I'll trust that you're holding a watering can because things are going to get better and flowers grow in the valley. I'm like, well, my little 8-year-old girl running around preaching at me with her music.
Right. But music is it helps a lot in a lot of different ways. Like sometimes it's like, and plus it depends on like your mood, that you're in. Like it's like when you're in a sadder mood, you feel all the beats, and everything. And then like kind of when you're uplifted, it's like you hear those lyrics, so.
Definitely. If you were going to start an optimistic playlist to share with nurses new nurses,
okay,
what's a song you would want to put on it?
I know this may sound so bad, but you have to listen to the lyrics. I'm a survivor. Destiny's Child.
Okay, that's awesome.
Would definitely be one.
I like that.
I don't know. I would have to really think about this. That's the only one that like came to my mind like right now because it's like just upbeat,
Right.
So.
Well, there's Overcomer by Mandisa. That's a good one.
Okay, I will have to listen to that one.
Man, I'm giving her free advertising right now. But I think it's pretty really relatable. Because I feel like, sometimes you need to have resources to share that are not necessarily religious in origin, but still just kind of having a positive mindset of that I can overcome.
Yeah.
So any more words of wisdom you want to share with us today?
No, nothing I can think of. I just my favorite saying. I mean, I don't know if it's like really as far as like optimism is to be kind, and if you can't be kind, you can be quiet. Serious, because sometimes it's like if you don't have anything nice to say, please just don't say anything. And it's like making sure to remind people to focus on the small wins. We always look for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. No, and we save that dress or those shoes for a great occasion. Wear that dress, wear those shoes today.
Yes.
Because it's like we're never promised. So yes.
Yes. I'm glad you said that in the context of optimism.
Yes.
Let me share with you. Yesterday was Easter. We're filming this a little ahead of time for May. When I used my husband's grandmother's china. The other day they were saying we never use that, and I'm like, I mean, I don't want to use it every day,
right.
Mom. But at the same time, I was like, look, see, I cooked and we are using this china. We are not setting it aside for the Queen of England. She's not going to come ever now. We have to live it up where we're at. And sometimes I kind of feel like I'm in a hurry to experience things and live now while we can. But like you said, especially working in the hospital with people who thought they had more time and then they don't. If there's something you want to make sure to do before you die, make it happen. Like figure out a way. If it's on your bucket list, don't save it for when you're 75. You don't know if you're going to be able to walk those hills or wherever to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's hopeful too. Like I've been in kind of a slump the last few weeks. I was having a hard time. I know we've talked about it, and you were very encouraging for me during that time.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were encouraging me to be open about struggling. We don't like to post anything that's negative.
Right.
The world has enough negativity in it already. But at the same time, like we've been saying this whole time, we got to be real.
Yes.
And not act like we have it all together and nothing ever goes wrong in our life, because that can make other people feel like, well, I could never have that because nothing ever goes wrong for them.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not the case. You don't
Mhm.
be an overcomer by nothing ever happening to
Right.
you.
Like,
Right.
what the stuff that's happening to you is helping you to be that person, so that you're able to be open to people and be honest and let them see the real you. Because sometimes, like you said, some people don't think that you go through things. And it's like, no, I most certainly do.
Yeah, we're all human, you
Yeah.
know.
Like, how are you so strong? It's like, because being strong is all I have to be right now.
Well, we gotta ask for help. We gotta ask for help from each other. We can't do
Mhm.
it alone. And it was really encouraging to have people like you and other friends like that responded with words of encouragement. Like
Mhm.
one of my main love languages is words of encouragement.
Yes.
And so, or words of affirmation.
Right.
And so I really, if you don't let people know what you need, then they can't help you.
Exactly. And that's my thing. I'm like, please always ask for help. Like, especially when people are like, do you need anything? They're like, no, I'm fine. No, if you need help, ask. Because, like you said, they don't know if you don't tell them.
Yeah, that's true. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your
Oh, thank
evening
you.
to
I
talk
appreciate
about
it.
how we can make all of nursing more optimistic
Yes.
together.
Yes, we will.